good if I put the microphone on, huh? It's okay, I'll edit that out of this video. No one will ever see it. What's up? The metaphysics of stupidity. You know, I love, most of the time, making videos about stuff that nobody else is making videos about, and this would be certainly one of them. It's like, you know, I could talk about this, you know, in a logical, intelligent, straightforward manner. Something that's both simple and yet, you know, follows not only inductive reasoning, but anyway, get to the point right. I also like to end up making a quote from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He spent 10 years in jail before being stretched at the neck for a plot against an evil critter back in 1940s Germany. I'll let you guess who that person was. So, poor guy suffered in jail for 10 years, and I was going to read a quote from him. And of course, I have to say from the outset, and I've said it in countless other videos, but it has to be said here, there's a huge difference between intelligence and wisdom. One is empirical knowledge, episteme, and the other one is gnosis, or wisdom. The two are not the same. One can, if cultivated, lead to the other, but the two are not the same. The most evil people on this earth have always been, and they never teach you this stuff in high school or college, and they should. Most evil people have always been highly intelligent fools. Now, if you're to say to a common dolt, meaning a common stupid person, that guy's an intelligent fool. I know that guy. He's really intelligent, but he's a fool. People are like, what? That's like a contradiction. People generally, they don't even know the difference. It's like, how could someone be intelligent and a fool? You just said he was really smart, had a high IQ. Yes, he does. He scored really high on an IQ test, but he's a fool. And it surprises me. That's just because I've lived a different life than most people. I think most people have been chasing money or chasing some cute person or whatever, and they never concentrate on anything important. But I had to get that out of the way first. It's been actually studied, and this is certainly no shocker to me, that isolated people, yours truly, manifest stupidity the least, and those that manifest it the most are those that socialize or seek affirmation or confirmation from others. That's where the greatest amount of stupidity is to be found. Of course, we could talk about groupthink, but those that have that proclivity. So we have this idea that, you know, someone, of course, you know, there are defects of intellectual comprehension, obviously so, you know, where it just happens that, you know, the stars collide genetically, whereas someone is just, you know, it turns out they might have a, you know, severe learning disability, but in 95, or who knows what the actual percentage is, upper 90s easily, stupid people are not actually born that way. It's a moral defect, and it's a type of moral laziness. But let's be logical and intelligent about ignorance. The root of evil, by the way, is not malice, rather ignorance and stupidity. They're not really evil actions. This would take a video of its own, and people see, and some actions are completely indefensible, but one evil action is not the same as another evil, because there's no evil actions. Everything begins in the mind, and people don't think about that. People only see what other people do. They can't read other people's minds. Say a heinous act, I'll let you guess what that is, done by a mother trying to save the lives of her children, is not the same, which would be empirically the same as far as the act that's done. For example, of you know, some sort of crazy evil person in a back alley. You know, he sees some unsuspecting person, and it's a, you know, it's a crime of opportunity. Even though both of those acts, what the mother did and and I find it amazing. It is just truly a mark of stupidity that people think, well, you know, and I don't want to mention the evil act. You could guess what it is. It starts with a big K and then an I-L-L-I. They think that they're all the same. It's like, how could you be that, and I've blatantly said this before, it's like, how could you be that stupid to say something that dumb? So you're saying, you know, the evil act committed by a nefarious criminal in the street is the same thing as the exact same act, you know, committed out of love and compassion by a mother, for example, like some sort of deranged, you know, demon foaming at the mouth who broke into the house, and I've actually had people in the past like, yeah, they're the same thing. It's like, oh my God, how To me that's shocking. It's just like seeing a unicorn or something. It's like, how could somebody become that ignorant? I mean, what happened in their life? This person is college educated, which means nothing, of course, college educated. How could someone be that incredibly unintelligent? Anyway, there are no evil actions. Of course, some are essentially indefensible, but people are not evil by the things that they do. They're evil, of course, what's between their ears, and what they're reserved to do, or what they hold back, or what is the natural proclivity that they have by nature of their evil. Only, of course, evil and ignorant minds. Malice is, of course, obvious, but its root is never demonstrable because, of course, it's not demonstrable. It's not empirically demonstrable. Here's a recent example. This happened like 48 hours ago. A herd mentality was 8 people who lost their lives in a crush injury at a concert. It was some famous rapper or something like that. People submit their will and they behave animalistically towards a worldly one. People make heroes and angels and gods out of worldly things. People worship stuff, or they'll make an idol. I heard idol worship, out of worldly things. So rather than a true one, people will make worldly ones because it is demonstrably palpable. This is why stupidity, and I'm getting to the point here, is a moral failing. Stupidity, once again, getting to the next point, is not an intellectual defect, or 99 times out of 100, someone could be born, they just have a major learning disability, obviously, so, but it's a moral defect. And I agree with, you could read his letter by Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He's correct in stating that. I don't agree with everything he wrote, but most of what he wrote was accurate. So stupidity is not an intellectual defect, almost always rather a moral defect, born of a weak will, and certainly so an unguarded mind. I always laugh at people who say you need to have an open mind. That's like saying you need to leave your house open or something. Criminals and nefarious people are going to come in and steal and, pillage your house. An open mind is way worse than a closed mind. It'd be far better for someone to have a closed mind that's guarded and protected, and that never lets anything in, than a mind that's totally open. If your mind's totally open, your brain's going to fall out and someone's going to fill it in with propaganda and slogans and evil. A mind is meant to work like a parachute, and I used to skydive. Parachutes are not fully open, they're partially closed. People forget they need to have a guard at the gates to their mind, and most people, hey, it's good to have an open mind. It's like, no, it's not. I love it. You need to have an open mind. Partially open, with a gatekeeper, that discerns facts, logic, and wisdom, and it lets those things in, and it holds back the mountainous surge and tidal wave of evil and stupidity. Stupidity is almost never a defect of one's empirical being, rather a genuine spell, and this is the true meaning of a spell, actually, by the way. So that person's under a spell, rather a genuine spell, not meaning someone cast a spell. I don't mean that literally. Although it's kind of essentially the same, cast a spell over that person to be a mindless tool. Natural law, this is a really important thing. I don't know of another YouTube video that talks about this, and it's factual, and everybody should learn it, that natural law is a spiritual collective, and this is not politics. If you think it's politics, go somewhere else. I don't care about politics. I only care about facts, logic, and wisdom, and true philosophia, which is the love of wisdom, the genuine, original meaning of philosophy. Natural law is is a spiritual collective, not a worldly collective. The world has always had two movements, one of individualism and freedom, and one of collectivism and insanity and stupidity. Worldly collectivism always, can I say always a couple more times? Always ends in evil, tyranny, atrocities, worse and worse and worse. It always has, it always will. So, well, it's true that there is a collective. It is an ontological, metaphysical collective, that humanity bears the yoke thereof, and that is natural law. Okay, that is natural. Follows natural law, and it follows the one. But this movement towards existential or empirical, or the cult of persona, if you don't know what that is, towards collectivism, is insanity and stupidity. This is a moral failing, not a physical defect of, oh, that person's stupid. It's like, yeah, but they weren't, born with a defect. It's that they have a bad moral, they are morally deficient. Of course, we have an iPad generation now of instant gratification and intellectually deficient people. They've literally been conditioned to be intellectually deficient. People now literally have the attention span of a mosquito. You can't say something to them more than 5 seconds long before this is what they can't grasp anything. The deeper truths of this universe, which are fundamentally simple, take more than 10 seconds to explain and elaborate upon. You can't get there. You can't even lead the horse to the water, much less to get it drink. You can't get the horse to go more than 5 steps, much less the 1.5 miles to the watering hole. It used to be you could get the horse to the watering hole, but you might not be able to get it to drink. Fine, to heck with you. Now you can't even get the horse to go a few feet because of iPad generation. Instant gratification tools. People are morally deficient, fundamentally. Here's something else I don't ever hear anybody saying, and this is not a quote from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. This is my quote. The tyranny feeds itself on human stupidity. It cannot survive without it. Tyranny and evil feeds off of human stupidity in its collectivism to feed itself. It would starve without it. Evil feeds off of people's stupidity, and it dies on their inner independence and wisdom. If you have inner independence and wisdom, there was a revolution in a country somewhere in Asia, and they actually took care of people who wore glasses. Look this up, yeah? Took care of it. They ended them wearing glasses. Why would you end somebody for wearing glasses? Because that looks like they're smart. That means they have a mind of their own. They've been reading. That's why they wear glasses. They ended them. You don't know about that? You're not very smart if you need to know a little bit of history. Yeah. Just do a Google search on where it happened, where people were cut from this world for wearing glasses. They look smart. They probably can think for themselves. We can't have that. It's not funny at all. It's pure evil. So evil feeds off of people's stupidity, and it dies. Tyranny does. Tyranny and evil dies on their inner independence and wisdom. That should tell you something, if you have a mind. Evil, by definition, requires their submission, the submission of others, since it feeds not off of what is good or of the one, rather off of the weak wills, which of course is the weak moral character of others. Now that can be corrected, but people are just too weak. Stupid people, of course, engage in groupthink and slogans. Nothing they say is accurate or logical, and it certainly doesn't follow natural order. My saying that I've been saying for ages is that nothing true is popular, and nothing popular is true. I like to read a couple quotes. This is from after 10 years in jail. Papers from prison from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Like 2 weeks before his camp was to be liberated by the Americans. Yes, you're welcome, Europe, for liberating you from that tyranny. You're welcome. Let me repeat that again, you're welcome. Yeah, 2 weeks before his camp was liberated, he was stretched at the neck, for plotting against the evil tyranny of Deutschland there. So this is from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. It's okay to read a couple quotes from him. Evil always carries within itself the germ of its own subversion, in that it leaves behind in human beings at least a sense of unease. Against stupidity we are defenseless. Neither protest nor the use of force accomplishes anything here. Reasons fall on deaf ears. Facts that contradicts one's prejudgment simply need not be believed. In such moments, the stupid person even becomes critical, and when facts are irrefutable, they are just pushed aside as inconsequential and incidental. In all this, the stupid person, in contrast to the malicious one, is utterly self-satisfied, and being easily irritated becomes dangerous by going on the attack. Sounds a lot like what 2020, 2021, doesn't it? For that reason, greater caution is called for than with a malicious person. Never again will we try to persuade the stupid person with reasons, for it is senseless and dangerous. It becomes apparent that every strong upsurge of power in the public sphere, be it of a political or religious nature, infects a large part of humankind with stupidity. This is weak moral character. Yeah. In conversation with him, one virtually feels, meaning the stupid person, in conversation with the stupid person, one virtually feels that one is dealing not at all with a person, but with slogans, catchwords, and the like, have taken possession of him, his mind. Doesn't that sound familiar? Is history repeating itself? He is under a spell, blinded, misused, and abused in his very being, having thus become a mindless tool. The stupid person will always also be capable of any evil, and at the same time incapable of seeing that it is evil. I've heard a lot of reports out of Australia, things I will not talk about here. There is unfathomable evil. People that swore an oath, at least they used to take care of sick and people in pain and people that were, like squirting and oozing, great pain. And they're doing just the opposite. Literally, an able-bodied child is offering more care and comfort than someone that spent X number of years in medical school. It's like, hello, doctor, well, no, I can't wait on you. It's like, I'm in extreme pain. Now, these stories have been pouring in like a flood out of Australia, and not just Australia, actually. Some from America. I'm not picking on Australia. People, there is a metaphysics of stupidity. And most people say, oh, just a stupid person. He's born dumb. Just got no sense. Or he's unread. He doesn't know how to read and write. I tell you, I've met illiterate people, some illiterate people that are incredibly wise. They know the natural order. They can read nature. They could track an animal based on the footprints in the grass and stuff. These people are unintelligent, but they're extremely wise. They're not stupid people. That's uneducated. That's not stupid. Uneducated is, that's what people think too. Uneducated is one thing. Stupidity is another. It's like, this person doesn't know how to read or write, can't do math. He's stupid. Like, no, he's not. That person, I've met people like this. I get along great with them. They are extremely wise. They know things that will shock you. They might not be able to read or write, but they're only uneducated. They are not stupid. There is a metaphysics of stupidity. If we want to be technical and analytical as a stupid person, we don't need to throw that around. Let's just be technical, accurate, facts, logic, and wisdom above all else. There is a metaphysics of stupidity. It is of morality. Other than those who are born with a deficiency, which, is not their fault, obviously. So the rest of these people that we're using that word upon have extremely weak moral character. They are a tool. And I don't use that in a pejorative fashion, however, it should be pejorative. They're a tool. Their will has been usurped by either another person or another collective, and you can't reason with them. You have irrefutable facts in front of you. They don't want to this. They are not their own person. It is literally like they're possessed. It is really no different than being possessed. They are under a spell, almost literally. They say they're under a spell. Like they say that about people that are in these weird, strange, religious. It's like, that's weird. It's like, yeah, they're under a spell. They are not their own person. They are not in control of who they are. They are completely usurped. And it is a type of laziness, it's metaphysical laziness, a spiritual laziness. But we can say spiritual laziness, we can say weak moral fiber. It doesn't matter. We're all referencing one thing to what that is. But that type of evil and what it is, because stupidity ends in evil, it always has, it always will. People say, uneducated people are dangerous. Like, no, they're not. No. And I will remind you time and time again, the greatest evil committed by, just pick entity A, B, C, X, they've always been highly intelligent. After this heinous thing done by person A, B, C, X, Y, Z, they found his manifesto in his little cabin that he's been living in. My God, this guy was a math professor. He's so intelligent and really erudite, but he's, it's insane. Greatest evils have always been committed by people that are fools. that have weak moral character. They have been usurped by a collectivism, a belief, and insanity. Without wisdom, all the empirical facts and all the college degrees in the world do not help anybody. They might help them get a good job, help impress people. I know several languages. They start speaking in French or German. So what? I know 7 languages. You know, oh my God, that guy's so smart. It's like, yeah, but he's a fool. Well, how could someone be smart and be a fool? I've actually heard that before many times. Like, you really don't know? People don't know. People need to know this stuff. I mean, they really do. Anyway, I hope you like this video. I wanted to make a unique video that's not out there on YouTube. And this is that video. Tell me if you like it or not. Any donation is always warmly welcome in the link below in the description. Or tell me how much you hated it. Either way, it's fine. This is in Russian. Большое вам спасибо и увидимся. Guten Abend, Damen und Herren, Frau und Mädchen. Thank you so much, and goodbye.